In this world, money speaks louder than love. And for Ifunanya, the silence that followed was more painful than heartbreak. Because the man she loved didn't just leave, he left her because she had nothing. But the story didn't end there, because God doesn't write with the same pen as men. In the vibrant town of Obeledu, where market days rang louder than church bells and gossip flowed like palm wine, lived a young woman named Ifunanya. Obeledu was a place where life danced through the dusty streets. Every 4 days, the market square came alive. Women with wide hips and louder voices balancing baskets on their heads hawked everything from pepper soup to second-hand wrappers. Traders shouting their prices, the smell of fried akara mixing with fresh yams and pepper. Children splashed and laughed at the stream, chasing each other with water-filled calabashes, while elders sat beneath the udala trees, playing ayo and sharing tales of the old days. But beneath all the laughter and music was a truth few dared to admit. In Obeledu, status was everything. People looked at your father's name before they looked into your heart. You were either a somebody or a nobody. And Ifunanya, she was a nobody. She lived with her widow mother and younger siblings in a one-room mud house with a leaking roof and no window. Her mother sold peppers in the markets, barely enough to feed them. But Ifunanya, she had something the others didn't. A kind heart, a warm smile, a love that made even the saddest woman at the stream forget her pain. She helped the elderly, cooked for the neighbors, and always shared what little she had. Then came Chike, tall, fine, and educated, the kind of man every mother in Obeledu dreamed of for their daughter. He first saw her at the stream, struggling to carry a heavy calabash of water. The sun caught the shimmer of her wet skin, and something about her grace. The way she laughed with the children, even when her wrapper was patched and faded, stopped him in his tracks. From that day, everything changed. Chike was her first love. Unlike the other boys who threw compliments like pebbles, he was different. Gentle, present, intentional. He walked her home from the stream with no shame, even when the village boys teased him. He wrote her poems on brown paper torn from old notebooks, tucked them into her baskets when no one was looking. He called her his queen and meant it. They talked about the future, about marriage, a quiet home on the edge of the village, a farm of their own. Children with her smiles and dimples, he promised her the world, not in grand gesture, but in daily kindness. And for a while, the village buzzed with wonder. Even the other girls, especially the ones who had silently hoped for Chike's attention, began to watch her with a mixture of envy and disbelief. The pepper seller's daughter, they whispered, "What does she have that we don't?" But even in the sweetness, Ifunanya's heart wasn't at peace. She worried, not because he gave her a reason to, but because life had trained her not to trust gifts she didn't earn. What if he was only drawn to the mystery of her simplicity? What if his love would fade once he saw the crackles in her reality? The leaking roof, the empty pot, the mother who hoarded peppers to survive? One evening, as they sat under the moonlight by the stream, she voiced her fears. "Chike, people are talking. My family has nothing, and you could have any girl in this village." He didn't respond right away. Instead, he leaned forward, his head gently on the forehead, and whispered, "It's not where you come from, Ifunanya. It's where we are going together." In that moment, she believed him. But in a village like Obeledu, love doesn't live in silence for long. The market women, with tongues sharper than their knives, began to whisper. They talked as they sold peppers, as they wrapped their fish, as they tied wrappers around their waists. It started as murmurs, then grew louder. "Is it true Chike is courting that girl? The one whose mother begs customers for extra coins?" Before long, the words found their ways into Chike's compound, and eventually into the ears of his mother. One afternoon, Chike's mother called him into the house and said, "What is this thing that I am hearing? Is it true? Are you really courting that girl, the pepper seller's daughter? The woman who is known for begging extra coins in the whole village? How dare you? How dare you bring shame to my family? How dare you destroy the name of your father?" She didn't give him a chance to speak, and didn't also ask what Ifunanya meant to him. She simply laid down the ultimatum with cold eyes and a voice that didn't tremble. "If you want to be with that girl, then forget about your inheritance. Forget your seat in your father's business. Forget the house, the land, the company shares. You will start from nothing, and you will not do it under my roof." Chike froze. His heart thundered. but his lips stayed shut. He was caught between the woman who gave him life and the woman who gave him love. And in that moment, he chose silence. He didn't return to the stream. He didn't explain. He didn't say goodbye. He simply disappeared. Ifunanya waited 1 day, 2 weeks, a month. She went to the stream hoping. She passed by his streets praying. But the boy who once kissed her forehead and promised her the world had vanished like smoke. She cried. Oh, she cried. At night when the village slept and even the moon seemed to look away, she would hold her chest and sob until her voice was lost to the wind. Her mother noticed. Her younger sister noticed, but no one knew how to comfort a girl whose heart had been stolen and discarded. But Ifunanya didn't stay broken. Years passed, and though the pain remained, she learned to walk through it, to carry it like a quiet shadow. She still helped the old women at the stream, still greeted everyone with a smile, still carried herself with dignity, even though something inside her had been cracked. Then, one market day, the kind where drums start to beat and rappers fly, the whispers began, low at first, then louder. Have you heard? Chike, he's getting married. Ifunanya froze by the yam stall, her fingers gripping the edge of her basket. To who? Someone asked. One of Chief of Kafo's daughter, the billionaire. The market erupted like wildfire. Ah, that boy made it all. A whole chief's daughter. That's a big catch. He left poverty and found paradise. He's so smart. Love doesn't feed you. Money does. Some said it without knowing. Others, they said it loud enough for Ifunanya to hear. The same girls who once envied her now laughed behind her back. The same traders she had helped carry firewood for now turned their eyes away in fake pity. And Ifunanya, she stood in the middle of the market square, basket still in her hand, heart pounding, cheeks burning, gossip storming her left and right, with some saying, didn't she used to follow him like a goat? Ah, poor girl, she thought she had caught gold. He was just playing with her. Look at who he's marrying now. Ah, he used her like a chewing stick and threw her away. Even pepper sellers are dreaming of marriage now. Ifunanya felt her heart sink again, like salt poured on an open wound. But it got worse. That day, she went home and sobbed. For 2 days, she didn't eat. Then she made a decision. She heard Chike had returned to the village driving a luxury car, looking powerful, successful, untouchable. With tears in her eyes and courage in her chest, she went to his compound to confront him. She met him outside his compound. He stepped out, looking expensive, gold watch, dark shades, head high like a king. She called his name softly. Chike. He turned, stared for a moment, then smirked. Oh, it's you. And she said, you are getting married? Yes. Ifunanya had just confirmed the fear of her life. And she went on to say, I thought we had something. Why did you leave without a word? He laughed. You thought wrong. Look around you, Ifunanya. In today's world, love without money is a joke. I can't be seen with a girl who has nothing. I can't marry shame. You can't feed love on an empty stomach. She froze and he continued, your family is a liability. You are just not enough. Not for the life I want. So please, don't embarrass yourself. Stay far away from me. And with that, he walked away. That moment broke something in her. Those words felt like a dagger in her chest. She finally realized that she didn't know this version of Chike at all. She was heartbroken that she couldn't do anything for weeks. Also because she felt ashamed of herself, felt used, and so naive that a handsome man like Chike could waste his life loving her. Meanwhile, the next days were filled with merry, luxurious wedding that became the talk of the village. Ifunanya witnessed it herself with the hope that she was just hallucinating, but unfortunately, it was the reality. Heartbroken but determined, she made the hard decision. Few days after the wedding, she packed all her things and left the village. Ifunanya left Obeledu with a heart shattered and a soul burning for more. She didn't just want to survive, she wanted to rise, not out of pity, not out of spite, but out of a deep, quiet promise to herself that she would never again beg to be seen. Lagos welcomed her with chaos, crowded buses, smoky air, and the constant noise of people chasing something. She slept on a friend's floor at first, then in a shared hostel room with 3 others. Every morning, She woke before the sun to clean tables and scrub dishes in a roadside restaurant. And every night she studied, her nose buried in business books, watching YouTube tutorials by candlelight, her stomach often empty but her mind full. It wasn't easy. She was mocked again, village girl, they sneered. Always tired, always quiet, but Ifunanya kept showing up, kept saving and kept learning. Then one day, while rushing out with a tray of drinks, she bumped into a man. The drink spilled, she froze, ready for insults. But the man simply laughed and helped her wipe it up. I am Ikena, he said warmly. No stress, accident happened. From that day, he became a regular, not just at the restaurant, but in her life. He would wait outside with an umbrella when it rained, walk her home after late shifts, and sometimes even leave flowers with no name. Still, Ifunanya kept her guard up. She'd been loved before, or so she thought. She wasn't going to be deceived again. But Ikena was so patient. He didn't push. He just stayed. When she told him about her dreams, he listened. When she mentioned her plans to start a bakery, he invested time, not money, helping her draft business ideas, writing out menus, pretending to be a customer for practice. He never bragged, never demanded. And when she finally got a scholarship from a foundation supporting women in business, he celebrated her like she had won the lottery. You are going to change lives, he said, and I just want to watch you shine. They grew close, best friends. He asked to date her many times. She always smiled and said, not yet. He never pressured. He just kept being there. When she opened her first restaurant, he was her first customer. And when the third one opened across town, he was the one who helped her design the launch flyer. But then one day, she told him, I'm going back home. I have built enough. I want to start something for my mom and sister. Ikena nodded. Take your time. I'll miss you. She left for Obeledu again. This time, not broken, but whole. Not hidden, but glowing. She drove herself in her SUV. Built 2 homes, one for her mom and another for her younger sister. Sponsored a borehole project. Quietly paid for school fees for struggling kids. But she kept her arrival low-key. Still, the whispers started. Who is that woman with the big car? People were speculating and suspected it could be Ifunanya, but then they discarded the idea that she could be the one. Then came the village festival, a colorful, dramatic affair where the Igwe of Obeledu would host neighboring dignitaries. Everyone wore their best. The air smelled of roasted corn and fresh palm wine. And that's when it happened. A new entourage walked in. Royalty from the next village. Among them was a handsome young man in royal attire. Eyes followed him, and when Ifunanya saw him, she dropped her glass. Ikena. He hadn't told her, hadn't said a word. She watched as people bowed to him, calling him prince. Her heart pounded, not with anger, but with shock. She stood frozen as he walked up to her. I told you I would always want to see you shine, he said softly. You are a prince? She whispered. Yes, indeed I am, and I didn't want you to love a title. I wanted you to see me. She didn't know what to say, but for the first time in years, her walls began to fall. As they walked through the festival, people stared, not just at him, but at her. As they have finally realized who she was, no one called her Pepper Seller's daughter anymore. Now, she was the one they whispered about in awe. But there was one more moment fate had planned. As she passed through a narrow road the next morning, she saw a man walking with a little boy. His clothes were old, his face tired, sunken. Excuse me, she said. Where is the road to the Udala tree compound? The man turned. It was Chike. He didn't recognize her at first. But when she started explaining and describing the place, his eyes widened into realization. He quietly said, Is that you, Ifunanya? She nodded slowly. She couldn't believe her eyes of what he had become. They sat down under the tree to catch up, and he began to speak. He told her how his business collapsed, how his wife only married him to expand her father's business, and how when the money dried up, she left with another man and dumped him with their son. I lost everything, he whispered, and I thought of you every day. She listened quietly, then said, You didn't lose me because you made a mistake. You lost me because you couldn't see my value when it wasn't wrapped in gold. But she forgave him. She paid for the boy's school fees quietly and asked the little one to visit the restaurant if they ever came to Lagos. Then came her wedding, not because she needed to prove anything, but because love had found her again, pure, strong, and rooted in truth. Ikena stood proudly beside her, the prince who loved her when she was still washing plates. Chike watched from the crowd, silent, humbled, clapped with the others, but he knew he had once called her nothing, and now she was everything. This is more than a story about love. It's a story about how society judges people based on wealth, background, and appearance. In this life, people will mock you because you're poor. They will walk away from you when you have nothing. They will marry status and leave behind substance. But hear this, your value is not in your pocket, it's in your soul. Your worth is not in your background, it's in your heart. Let rejection push you higher. Let pain build your purpose. And when you finally rise, don't seek revenge. Let your success speak. Let your peace be your power. And never forget, if someone can't see your worth during your struggle, they don't deserve your shine. So the question is, should love depend on wealth or background? Have you ever been rejected because of your status or appearance? What matters most to you? How someone looks or how they treat you? Do you think Chike truly learned his lesson? And what would you have done if you were Ifunanya? Thanks guys for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to comment and share. This story was told by Suzy here on Suzy Space. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.